Hi guys, today I'm coming to you with a non-spoiler review of Angel Mage by Garth Nix. This is his latest novel to come out and I believe his first adult fantasy book that he has released, and I was super excited when I had heard mention of this bubbling on the surface due to come out, and yeah, I was super excited to randomly buy it online and get it. I did try to look for it in Waterstones near me, like a pretty nice big Waterstones, and they didn't have any, and I was so gutted because I was like, that's kind of why I came here. I got some other books in the end, but I ended up just buying this off of Amazon, and yeah, let's just talk a little bit about it. So this is, I don't even know, I feel like it's best if I read the synopsis, and I know that's really annoying, but I feel like I'll miss out like pivotal, I don't even know, pivotal moments if I try to explain it myself. And I get a little bit confused because even now I'm a little bit scatterbrained about this whole book. So yes, okay. I pronounce it as Lilith because it's got an A there, and Lilith doesn't usually have an A there. But yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm probably going to be pronouncing it as Lilith as we go through, because that's how I've been reading it in my head. Anyway, Lilith is determined to find Peace-and-Cookies, her lost lover, the Archangel of Ystara. I've just realised there's a comma here. And all the other writing's white, but the comma is the same colour as this brownish shade up here. I don't know why, that just randomly stood out to me. For any other, it would be an impossible quest. But Lilith is one of the greatest practitioners of angelic magic who ever lived, able to summon angels and force them to do her bidding. She also knows the truth. Most of the inhabitants of Ystara died during the Ashblood Plague. Those who didn't were transformed into beastlings, and she led the few survivors into the neighbouring Sarence herself. Now their descendants are shunned by angels, for when touched by angelic magic, their blood turns to ash. But Lilith cares nothing for the descendants of her people, save for how they can serve her, and 4 young Sarentians have caught her interest. Simeon, a studious doctor in training, Henry, a dedicated fortune hunter, Agnes, an adventurous musketeer cadet, Dorothea, an icon maker and scholar of angelic magic. The 4 feel a strange kinship from the moment they meet, but none know why, nor suspect that they will all become pawns in Lilith's plan to fulfill her destiny. This book was awesome. It's massive, intimidating, but it's awesome. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Even now, and I'll probably mention this again, even now I'm still confused at whether it's supposed to be a standalone or it's supposed to be a series, because going in I had heard, confirmed, blah blah blah, that it was a standalone, but then a lot of my friends that have reading it as well have been like, I thought it was a series, it sounds like a beginning of series, and then me still thinking, no, I'm pretty sure it's a standalone. When I was getting to about here, I was like, things aren't wrapping up now, like what's happening? Surely if it's a standalone it kind of needs to, but it wrapped up, so I thought it feels like it could be both, like there could be more in this, but it also feels like it'd be fun if it was a standalone. Like I wouldn't cry if we didn't get nothing more about it in this world. Like I would like more in this world, but it feels somewhat complete. It was just worrying because it was getting closer and closer and closer. I'm like, is it really going to be a standalone then if we're not wrapping up at this point? But anyway, if any of you guys know if it's a standalone or if it's a series, please let me know. I could probably do even deeper research, but let's be honest, I'm not going to. I've got other things to do, I guess. So yes, I haven't read a high fantasy novel in what feels like forever, so I was very worried that it would take me ages to get into this world and ages to kind of truck through it. To be fair, it took me a little over a month to read and complete this, but it was a joyous occasion. I enjoyed the moments that I spent within this world, and I kind of appreciate that it took me a little longer to read because I felt like I was able to devour and understand like the context, the background, the characters just that little bit more by taking that time to kind of reading it and not rush through. I loved that the prologue as a taster, I was instantly hooked. It gave context to Ystara's downfall, the reason for everything and why, and kind of the build up to what's happening in our more current time with our 4 friends that meet relatively soon in the story, and it just kind of gave you the background you needed to know. Very well done to see the the significance to the story now as we went through in more of like a linear course of events. Again, I enjoyed that we have within the amongst the chapters we have parts of the story, and I felt like each part was distinctively different in, okay, this is the next section now, but it didn't feel episodic in any way. It just kind of gave you that little bit of definition of the margin of where this part of the story is going to take us next. And I felt like I had a nice little closure at each part, even though it built up to the next, and obviously generally the continuation of the story, but it just made it more easy to absorb. It gave you, you know, it made me see a general outline of where the story was kind of unraveling to and building up to and growing, and it also made me feel this sense of achievement, because breaking it down in parts like that made it feel manageable, and I was able to understand these little manageable doses of the story better, which is what I appreciate when I'm reading a very high fantasy adult novel. I want to make sure that I am understanding what's going on. I don't want to feel swamped, especially when we have quite a lot of point of views like in this story and like most adult fantasy, I believe. It just made the reading experience that much more smooth and effortless. The magic system in this was fantastic, very unique. I'm sure something similar has been done before, but again, it's very refreshing to come into angels and angel magic, but in an adult way, because recently I read, like last year sometime, I read the Hush Hush sequence that's about fallen angels, and it's very, very different. Like, that's a YA story about fallen angels and more about romance and stuff. This one, the story ultimately is driven by this desire of love, or a twisted version of love, but it's not like the whole story, and it's a very more grown concept of angels and humans, and the way the humans wield their power over the angels is just phenomenal. I loved the icon making, all these things that you would discover upon reading the book. It's just fascinating. Garth Nix has hooked me in once again with his unique magic systems, and hands down, I feel like I cannot say any more about that. Just amazing. Again, back to characters quickly. I really enjoyed getting to know each and every one of them, specifically out of our sort of the 4 friends that we're following. I feel like my favourite would probably be Dorothea. She's the icon maker, and she's very whimsical and strange, but she is very knowing. She takes in people's subtle movements, and she watches people very critically, even though it appears that she's not quite with us. You know, she's not here in this plane, she's thinking about stuff ahead in the clouds, but she is very, very knowing. And yeah, I think many will agree, having read this, that she's definitely, although a softer character, a pulling force, a very big part of this story, as all 4 of them are, but I feel like she just holds something a little bit extra. The others are all great as well, all very different characters, some louder, some quieter, some irritating at times, but I just loved the kinship that they felt with one another, never having met before. You discover why they feel so close to each other as the story progresses, but it was just written so beautifully. I really did enjoy how different each character was, but how well they came together. Lilith was very interesting, so conniving, but not in, well, obviously in a malicious way. She's after what she needs, what she feels she desires the most, but it's in a very calm, calculating, what's the word, manipulating way that is very, very clever to read from. I felt in awe as pieces were unraveling and coming together from her plan, and kind of seeing what she was intending to do. It was just fascinating. I loved what I definitely now know to be like the French influence of like musketeers. What else is the other word that they use? The pursuivants, I believe. We have a little bit of acknowledgements for the musketeer films and stuff in this, but yeah, you can see it's set, and I think another reviewer had said as well, it's got a nice kind of alternative French vibe to it, just with some of the terminologies and like the way the society works and stuff. I don't know a lot about French history, but I feel like I'm on the right track, because other reviewers have said something similar, and I was like, I thought it sounded a bit like French stuff. That made no sense. Overall, I'm so happy that I enjoyed another novel from one of my, I would say, favourite authors, and I've read, even though most of the works I've read from him have been in the Old Kingdom kind of world and had some sort of influence within that world, I'm happy now that I've got something that I still love that has nothing to do with that world by the same author, because I've been stuck in that world. Whenever I say he's my favourite author, I'm like, oh, but I've only really read like one pivotal series from him and then some other random little books here and there, but it's building more and more, and I can still say he's one of my faves. Definitely check this out if you're interested. It's very slow going, it's a slow moving story, slow development, but just push through and I think you'll enjoy it. So let me know what you thought of this review. If you've read this book, what are your thoughts? Do you have similar feelings, differing feelings? If you would like to read this book, I'd love to know. Start a conversation with me. I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.